What's going on, everybody? B Sky here with
GOD.
and on today's show, we're going over the waiver wire. Week 3's in the books, and as of this recording, the Las Vegas Raiders have beaten the New Orleans Saints at home, first win in Legion Stadium.
That's great.
A great win, honestly. They played great, outstanding. The Saints couldn't clean up the penalties at all. Period. Their penalties were outrageous and cost them the game.
Coach Al Davis out there.
Yeah, of course. So, and then the biggest news: injuries.
Yeah.
You know, there's teams decimated with injuries. The whole 49ers team is in wheelchairs today.
Yeah. MetLife Stadium. That's nice.
Yeah.
And you know what? If the 1 and 2 picks, I feel so bad for you right now. If you drafted Chris McCaffrey or more importantly Saquon Barkley, he's out for the whole season. So
Yep.
I mean, we'll try to plug you right now, but man, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll go over some injury news and get into the waiver wire. So keep it locked and loaded right here at the first 4 downs.
Yeah. Drop the logo.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the first 4 downs. And week 2 is over, and like we mentioned in the intro, just injuries. It was pretty insane. Just a pile of injuries to top end talent.
ACL weekend.
Absolutely. So before we get into the waiver wire, before we get into the injury talk,
Yeah.
don't forget, like the video, subscribe, hit the thumb, hit the bell, all the good stuff. We're here all season long, so let's get into it. The injury report, period. Saquon Barkley, number 1 or 2 pick overall in your fantasy leagues, or probably should have, unless you play a weird quarterback one, but
Yeah.
out for the year. Torn ACL. That's not good. And there's a couple guys on the waiver this week that you could pick up to help you, but they ain't going to replace Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. You're never going to replace Saquon Barkley. Even look at it last year when he had high ankle. They couldn't do nothing without him. And now, I mean, this is just devastating news. Torn ACL. I mean, you know what? We had questions going into the game, looking at Jason Garrett's system and how he is running the football right now, how the offensive line is not really blocking at, like, just hit you in the mouth. It's just like some zone, weird little fancy stuff. And we seen is just, oh man, it's really devastating, especially if you had a 1 or 2 pick. But get well. That's, I mean, first and foremost, and hopefully we see you back again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So number 2 pick, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Got the high ankle sprain. They're saying 4 to 6 weeks. I think he'll probably be back a little sooner, but he's still, this could be somewhat like Saquon Barkley, missed 2, maybe 3 weeks.
Or on the flip, it could be like Alvin Kamara last year, where he tried to come back and he wasn't good at all.
Yeah, of course. That's
I mean?
another thing. Saquon, you saw, struggled with the high ankle sprain even when he came back. So I worry for Christian McCaffrey even season long, but for now, he is going to miss some time. It's just huge news. So, Courtland Sutton, another guy torn ACL. And the Denver Broncos and the 49ers this week were just killed by injuries. Courtland Sutton being out of the ACL, that hurts him overall, period. Drew Lock, he's got the sprain in his shoulder.
Yeah.
He's out indefinitely, 3 to 5 weeks. They're saying right
Driscoll
now at the
out there
timetable.
making moves though.
Yeah,
Trying to pick up Driscoll, but no.
Yeah, but 49ers.
Yeah.
Nick Bosa and Solomon Thomas on that defensive line, both torn ACLs.
Yeah, and they're saying that's due to the field there in MetLife. And you know what? Guess where they got to play next week to play the New York Football Giants?
Yeah.
MetLife Stadium. So I don't know. That's if you have players on the team, that's something to stay away from. Another big one that's not really injured right now, but I'm keeping my eye out on a lot, is Devontae Adams. We seen Devontae Adams, you know what I'm saying, suffered a turf toe last year. We know through training camp he was going through injuries, garnering the foot, and now he's garnering a hamstring as well as an ankle supposedly. So that's the thing where we worry about injuries, right? Because we know, like, when you have an injury with something, you just put pressure on the other muscles.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So you don't try to re-injure that injury, but you put too much strain on the other muscle.
Yep.
So I think that's exactly what may be going on. So, you know what I mean? If you on this waiver this week, if you have Devontae Adams, you might be thinking about, you know what I'm saying, just add him to your roster to bolster it, just in case he happens to sit out.
Yeah, Julio too.
Yeah. Oh man.
Like I said, I mean, 3 fantasy points this week and half point scoring, and he literally looked like he was galloping up and down the field. You could tell this hamstring was hurting him, and they're going to roll him out there. He's a tough guy. He's definitely going to play, but I worry the same thing. He's another guy. But
yeah, those are big tickets.
yeah, of course. Raheem Mostert, looking to miss this week.
Sprained MCL.
Phillip Lindsay's probably going to be out again. Melvin Gordon's going to be the Lone Ranger with nobody around him. You know what I mean? I like Noah Fant, but
this is what happens when you don't have a preseason. You know what I mean? And what's crazy is before COVID, I mean, last season, the players union, they were opting to try to get a shorter preseason. I think you now know that we do need a preseason. And, man, I just feel bad for all the players that's involved. It's a lot of money involved, a lot of fantasy players involved.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we got the plug to help you, get through this.
Yeah, absolutely. So, on to the waiver wire.
Yeah.
It's week 3. We can start at the quarterback position. We'll start at the tops. There's 2 quarterbacks on. There's more quarterbacks, actually, especially with the way Derek Carr played tonight. Absolutely. But I'm going to start with Ryan Tannehill. He's on only 46% of Yahoo leagues right now. He's the number 8 quarterback through the first 2 weeks. He's got 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. You saw last season in the 9 games that he started, he was the number 2 quarterback, only behind Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
So going into this season, being as strong as he is, and playing without A.J. Brown this week, still throwing 4 touchdowns.
Hey, that's what I was going to get at. You know what? He's that good right now, and he's playing without A.J. Brown. So, I mean, season long, you have to think that I would look at it more as an investment to pick him up. You know what I mean? If you don't have like the top 3 quarterbacks right now, Russ, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, I'm looking at Tannehill as possibly, just bolstering my position.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like having him on my bench. Possibly, especially if you waited in drafts and drafted a Carson Wentz or something like that. This is a guy you want to go pick up right now.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Oh, and not just that. Like you were saying with Devontae Adams, if he happens to miss some time, I'd probably be starting Tannehill over Aaron Rodgers. Possibly.
Aaron Rodgers looked good, man.
He does, but you saw last week, Devontae Adams in and out of the lineup. What happened? The Aaron Jones show. We saw it last season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is very true. And you know what? That's a very good point because we looked at this matchup going against the Detroit Lions, knowing that the cornerbacks was down, and they did not hit the passing game at all because Aaron Jones just blew up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
so anyway, yeah, Ryan Tannehill, definitely a huge pickup of the week. We go to the next quarterback, Gardner Minshew. We mentioned him last week. Once again, owning 32% of leagues. Comes out, what does he do? Throw 3 touchdowns, 300 passing yards.
Yeah.
He did have the 2 picks, tip drills, but he still looks good in an offense where they're going to struggle to score points. Or the defense is going to struggle to hold points off the board. 27 points week 1, 30 points week 2.
Even though his name is Gardner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the number 10 quarterback right now. And, I mean, he's another starter that's viable week in and out. Even if, let's say, you just have to start him when you have guys in tougher matchups or you have an injury unforeseen. Like you were saying with the top 3 quarterbacks, you might not have a quarterback on your roster. But if you have any of those other guys, you probably should have a couple options.
Yeah. I usually don't, you know what I'm saying? I just have a lot of positional players. But the way the injuries are going out right now, you might want to start bulking up on your quarterbacks and everything to just get you through the bye weeks. And Gardner Minshew, I mean, that's an A1 option for me right now. Of course, I'll go pick him up.
Yeah. So, Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Tonight, 282.
282.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns. Yep.
Great game.
Saints. Yeah, great game.
Jeez.
Darren Waller, they couldn't stop him for nothing. I mean, we already know that guy's a monster, but they could not stop him. Couldn't hold him. Couldn't nothing. Josh Jacobs finished out the game strong. And, yeah, the Raiders won. I like Derek Carr in some spots, depending on the matchup. He played very well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they just beat the Saints.
Yep.
Monday Night Football. What more can you say about that? I mean, everything that you always wanted from Derek Carr to throw down the field and get more, just plays down the field with his wide receivers, and just have that pocket presence. It happened tonight.
Yep.
And it happened against one of the best defenses in the league. So, I think season long that bodes well for him. Even though they do got a little bit of a tough schedule, man, they're going to be in shootouts. You got to look at neutral and negative game script. They got offensive weapons around them. It's only a matter of time before they start hitting Henry Ruggs efficiently. So go pick up some Darren Carr if you need it.
Yep. So any other quarterbacks?
Nah.
Yeah. Justin Herbert, maybe?
I mean, Justin Herbert, yeah, he played pretty good. 311. He had a touchdown on the floor and through the air. But you know what? Anthony Lynn also came out and said that if Tyrod is healthy enough, he is the guy. Now, that defense played very well against this world champion Kansas City Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? You think about a lesser team than the Chiefs. I mean, if they can get a guy like Justin Herbert to not only game manage, but actually hit targets, look what he did with Keenan Allen.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And Hunter Henry had a solid game.
Yeah, and then you seen Eckler with 5 targets. You know what I mean? So that's pretty good, given that Eckler only had one target last week and 19 carries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's pretty good for what they want to do. I think they should be starting Herbert. I think that Herbert right now, if you want to pick him up, is nothing more than the stash, just because of what Anthony Lynn is saying. But you know what? I like him.
Yeah,
that's just like a sleeper on the year. Go get him if you have the roster spots. Because honestly,
or in Dynasty
at this point,
Dynasty too?
Dynasty of course. Period. You got to have Justin Herbert. But in redraft leagues, 10 to 12 man redraft leagues right now, given the injuries and everything like that, you're dropping a couple players this week. You know what I'm saying? Especially a Saquon or you know what I'm saying, one of these guys that's on the IR. So, you know, if you want to take that shot, go ahead.
Yep. So that's been the quarterbacks. We can move to the wide receiver position. We'll start with Russell Gage. You saw last week, he actually threw a touchdown to Julio that Julio dropped, which was embarrassing in my opinion. Julio's hands are great. Russell Gage ends up with another touchdown. Back-to-back weeks. He didn't see the high volume that he did in week 1, but, I mean, the Falcons are going to have to score points. They scored 39 points and still lost. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's embarrassing.
Of course. So I like Russell Gage. He's definitely a guy that should be rostered in all leagues, considering the amount of injuries.
Yeah, considering the amount of injuries in the league at wide receiver, and not only on his own team. Julio Jones looks like he's struggling.
Yeah.
With a hammy. Who knows if he'll be active or not? If you want to get a guy like that that's in the same team that'll have the same target share, go get Russell Gage too.
Yeah. So N'Keal Harry.
Yeah.
New England Patriots.
Oh, man.
I'm telling you, 12 targets, 8 receptions, 72 yards. Not great on paper, but I think as Cam gets more involved in this offense, gains that confidence of throwing downfield. Yeah. I mean, he looked pretty good. If you think about it, threw over 300 yards.
Yeah.
Seattle secondary's horrible. We already know that.
I want to say he had 11 targets. Him and Bird, they look like, and of course Edelman.
Yeah.
Rocked it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, looking forward in the shootout with the Seattle Seahawks, who look ridiculous with DK. You see how DK put that grown man on Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got Lockett that was out there monstering still. I mean, you know, that's a really good indicator that they like Harry in that offense. So he should be rostered, honestly, on everybody's team. That's the New England Patriots. That's probably their 1A, probably 1B receiver outside of Julian Edelman. So go get him.
Yeah, of course. So one more receiver. We got to talk about Keelan Cole. We talked about him last week. Once again, he out-targeted DJ Chark. He got another touchdown.
DJ Chark on a 10%.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Share right now.
Minshew's.
That's
throwing the ball around.
That's what Jacksonville does. I'm telling you, when a new receiver emerges, they just throw it all over the place. They don't know how to produce a receiver really. You look in years past, it's been Allen Robinson, then Marquise Lee, then the other guy, Justin Blackmon, then DJ Chark came. DJ Chark wasn't nothing, and then it was supposed to be Dede West. I mean, it's just mixed up and jumbled. Now they got Shenault, and now Shenault is running out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Come on, man. What do you want to do? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Keelan Cole is probably one of the guys that's like lesser on my pickups. But, I mean, I could see it. You know what I'm saying? He's getting targeted. So, and you think about it, that defense is pretty much garbage. So, I mean, they're going to throw the ball, and Keelan Cole is getting targeted, so get him.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
3% owned. That's it.
Yeah.
Back-to-back weeks with a touchdown. I'll have him as my last guy on the bench.
Yeah.
You know, of course. So, we can move to the running backs. Like we already mentioned, the position is decimated this week. So, the number one for me, I think I like Darrell Henderson the most. He's on the 33% of leagues.
Especially season long, yeah.
Season long. He out-touched Malcolm Brown. Malcolm Brown was in and out of the lineup with a hand injury. We don't know how serious that was. Cam Akers left the game with rib injury. We don't know how serious that was. But just the eye test to me, Darrell Henderson looked good.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. You know what? In week 2 last year, you know who was the number one pickup for running backs? Malcolm Brown.
Yeah.
This year too, and Nyheim Hines. The thing about these kind of players is that they are not very consistent, and they're not very good at football. You know what I mean? So week in and week out, you can't depend on these kind of players, but you get dynamic that you move up in the 3rd round to go get a Darrell Henderson. He didn't work out last year because also they were at the end of the terms with, Todd Gurley.
Yep.
And also he was hurt all last year too. You know what I mean? So now you finally get to see Darrell Henderson out of Memphis with those explosive home run hitting plays that, we seen there, you know what I mean? And now he in that Rams offense, man, I got to own him everywhere I can get him.
Yeah, of course. I think he definitely season long has a lot of potential. Don't get me wrong. They did draft Cam Akers. It's still a backfield that's mixed up, but I'll tell you what, the offense is elite. Yeah. So I'll take my chance with Darrell Henderson season long. Now, next on the list, if you're a Christian McCaffrey owner and you need a running back right now, Mike Davis. He's owned in 6% of leagues. Christian McCaffrey, they said out like we already mentioned in 4 to 6 weeks. Could be sooner, but it's still going to be Mike Davis for the foreseeable future within the next couple of weeks. After Chris McCaffrey left the game, 8 catches, 74 yards. Now, it was complete negative game script, but Mike Davis should be able to fill this role enough and have enough value going forward.
Yeah, even outside of catches, man. You know what? He's a seasoned vet. Everywhere Mike Davis has gone, Niners, Seattle, Chicago, you know what I'm saying? He was pretty good until, they just drafted another guy, you know what I mean? Mike Davis is a good running back. Outside of that, Mike Davis is a good running back, and you think about CMC's production, he ain't going to see all that, you know what I'm saying? I think they're going to air it out more. Honestly, if you want more shares than Roby, more shares than DJ Moore and those kind of guys, you should probably go grab them while you can. And Bridgewater, you know what I'm saying? If you want more shares of those guys, you should probably go get them now because, they're going to be in a lot of negative games for like we predicted in the offseason. But Mike Davis is a good running back to own, especially in that offense. I mean, go get him. Like you just said, he has 74 yards. You know what I'm saying?
He's probably just a plug. Yeah, he's probably a plug and play like RB2, RB3.
Yeah.
Honestly, for the next foreseeable future, a couple weeks. So, Wayne Gallman, Dion Lewis.
I don't like it.
I know. Let's just talk about it.
Yeah.
You're looking at 2 running backs that are probably going to split the backfield no matter what. Wayne Gallman will probably be active. They're bringing in Devontae Freeman.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's not signed yet, but they're supposed to meet with him tomorrow. We'll see if they sign him. Even if they do, I still wouldn't want any part of this backfield. The Giants' offense doesn't look in sync. They haven't been able to run the football. It showed in the first couple weeks, and now their star running back's hurt. That doesn't bode well for the offense. Now, I think Wayne Gallman, if they sign Freeman, who knows what's going to happen. Wayne Gallman's probably going to see a lot more of the early down work. He could be a little viable, but if you got to go pick this guy up, you got bigger problems.
You know what? If you're picking up Wayne Gallman or considering it right now due to Saquon's injury, you're probably in the number 2 spot, right? So hopefully you drafted like Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes in that 2nd or 3rd round. Maybe you could flip them for 2Ps. You know what I'm saying? I would look for that before I went to go pick up a Wayne Gallman on a week-to-week basis. Now we've seen Wayne Gallman shine in certain spots last year, but it's very highly inconsistent. And being where you at and where you were at in the draft and where you at probably as a team right now, you got to make a move. You got to make a splash, and that splash is going to come through a trade. So, I mean, you could pick these guys up, but I would also be trying to trade for a player as well.
Yeah, of course. So, those guys.
Yeah.
Almost like honorable mentions. Josh Kelly.
Yeah.
Josh Kelly had 23 carries for the Los Angeles Chargers.
He's a part of that offense.
Yeah, back-to-back weeks. Pretty solid production. And he's owned in only 40% of leagues. And he gets the Carolina Panthers this week. So if he's out there just even as a stream, he should probably be a top 10 back this week.
Yeah, he should be way more than 50% on, I believe. You look, given they were trying to eat the clock down, you know what I mean? And they just want to just burn out the clock. So, I mean, if you look at the yards per carry, it don't really look attractive. But you're looking at the week before, it did look very attractive. I think you can expect a lot more of what happened week 1 rather than what happened week 2. I think this is a split in a sense of you're not going to see no Justin Jackson. There was high hopes that Justin Jackson would be there, but I think that Joshua Kelly, just with his talent alone, has already surpassed him on the depth chart. So season long, I like him a lot, especially losing Pouncey for the year. Trey Turner, who knows when he's coming back. Like we said in the matchup video, they would probably turn to Kelly before they turn to Eckler. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad they got Eckler back in the past game. That really solidifies his value season long. But you want to own shares of Kelly too.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jared McKinnon on this list.
Yeah.
Raheem Mostert's hurt. Pick him up. Raheem Mostert's hurt, and Tevin Coleman is hurt. Both of them. They're dealing with minor knee sprains. So McKinnon's owned 25% of leagues. This is in Yahoo format, and just on his limited production, he's made plays happen.
Yeah.
He's had touchdown back-to-back games on very limited production. Now he's going into a week where he's possibly going to see a decent share of the workload. Now, they will have Wilson in there, probably get to split the load.
Yeah,
and
for
I think,
deep shit, like deep leagues, like 12 to 14-man leagues, Jeff Wilson might be a guy you're looking at.
Yeah.
But, Moscarati, like I call him, he's out right now. Probably you could probably guarantee that he'll be out 3, maybe 4. Look for Jet McKinnon. You know what I'm saying? McKinnon did good on 8 carries last year. I mean, last year, I keep saying last year. Last week, 72 on 8, I believe. You know what I'm saying? Go get him.
Yeah.
Or you're going to be sorry. But also, they playing at MetLife again. So, you could sneeze on McKinnon and he gets hurt. So, if you want to bank on that, bank on that. But I would take something else.
He's possibly a stream option. Yeah. So, and then Myles Gaskin. I'm just going to mention one more guy.
That guy's a beast. I like him a lot.
Well, here's the deal. Miami Dolphins. They came out after week 1 and said that game script is the reason he out-touched the other running backs. Then you go into this week, and he out-touched the other running backs again. Yeah. Both of them. And Breida got more touches than he did week 1, but still.
Breida's highly inconsistent.
Yeah, exactly. So Gaskin, don't get me wrong, is he going to blow the stat sheet away? No. But he's definitely a running back.
We don't know yet.
Well, it depends. We'll have to wait and see a competitive game from the Miami Dolphins. They did play the New England Patriots and Buffalo Bills. So this week, they got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Should be exciting or not exciting. That's how these games go. It's either there's a 100 points scored or 10 points scored. You know what I mean? So Gaskin, he's just the guy that is making his production in the receiving game, and it's working out for the Miami Dolphins. And he's being productive in fantasy, enough to be on fantasy teams. He's on 15% of leagues.
Hell yeah, go get him.
Yeah, of course. So on to the tight ends now. We got a couple tight ends on the sheet. We already talked about Jonnu Smith, a guy like Mike Gesicki, who are owned 60 to 70% of leagues.
Yeah, they blew up this week.
They killed it.
Yeah.
You know, same with Noah Fant. Once again, back-to-back weeks.
So, guys.
Dalton Schultz.
Yeah.
Who? Yeah, exactly. Dallas Cowboys. In negative game script, he did pretty well. 10 targets. He had 9 catches for 88 yards and a touchdown. The Cowboys are a high-powered offense. They're going to have to throw the football. It shows right now their defense ain't good.
How many times do you think that through the course of the season are we going to see the Cowboys in negative game script that bad?
It's happened. Well, you could say it happened twice.
I mean that bad.
Yeah.
40 points. That's like,
You hope not, but
So the volume was there. I mean, of course, you know what I'm saying? So is that going to be season long?
No, not necessarily. But you could he's still, in my opinion, a guy that you could play in matchups.
If you talk about eye test, I really like this kid. I really do. He gets open. I honestly, I think I like him a little bit more than Blake Jarwin, to be honest with you. If you can get him, if you can fit him on your bench, I don't have no, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I go get him.
Yeah. And, well, if you own Kittle or something like that, you know. Yeah. He's a flyer option on a weekly basis based on who he's playing, in my opinion. So, another guy, Jordan Reed. San Francisco 49ers, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he's got the talent. We've known he's been a talented guy.
For a long time.
But he always gets hurt. He can't stay on the field. And last week, 2 touchdowns against the Jets, team that's probably the worst team in football. I think so. I think it's the Jets. I still don't understand if Adam Gase makes it through the season, the whole season, without getting fired. I mean, I thought Dan Quinn should have been fired just for that mishap. I mean, you're up 39. You know what I mean? You're up 20 points and you lose.
That's crazy, man.
But anyway, Jordan Reed, he's another guy. Flyer that you can pick up if Kittle's out. Yeah. And then a defense streamer, I'm just going to throw one out there. Tampa, last week we talked about him. It's good because you can talk about it again this week.
Yeah.
They're on the road against the Denver Broncos. Decimated with injuries, like we already stated. Driscoll did play very well. They put on some points. They made it interesting with the Pittsburgh Steelers, which I was surprised with. But in Mile High, with their playmakers being hurt like that, it's going to be tough. And it's going to be hard to run the football against the Bucs front. I mean, they're the best in the league. So, for the first 4 downs, it was the waiver wire, week 3. So it's been B. Scott.
G.O.D.
And we out.
Yeah. See you Thursday.